Imagine this, a world where you can be judged as a criminal before you ever commit a crime. Where if your psychological score, your psychopath, spikes for even a second, you can end up in prison or executed. Doesn't matter if you're just assaulted or bullied endlessly, you must maintain your composure, because to the civil system, your state of mind is more dangerous than anyone's actions. And then you see him, a man committing actual crimes, brutal, terrifying crimes. And the system? It says he's perfectly fine, free to do as he pleases. That man is Shogo Makishima, and this video is about how he didn't just break the system, he challenged everything it stood for, and in the process, became the main reason Psycho-Pass is still talked about over a decade later, and why without him, it wouldn't be. In Civil's world, legality replaces morality. If the system says it's just, it is. Reasoning doesn't disappear, it becomes dangerous, because anyone who thinks for themselves risks becoming a criminal. Makishima isn't just a villain, he's a thesis with a body count. Like I did with Sosuke Aizen, to understand Shogo Makishima, we need to step into the mind of one of the most provocative philosophers of the last century, Michel Foucault. Foucault believed that power doesn't just operate through laws, it seeps into everyday life through surveillance and invisible systems of control. Sound familiar? That's exactly what the civil system is, and Makishima, he sees it. He fights it, because like Foucault, he knows real freedom means questioning who decides what's normal, what's safe, and what's criminal. Makishima embodies Foucault's idea of resisting the state's control under the guise of safety and order. The civil system isn't just enforcing laws, it's manufacturing obedience. This is fitting because in his first scene, he's seen reading 1984, a novel where people are judged for thoughts, not actions. It doesn't end there. When asked to recommend a book, he chooses Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? This is the exact moral dilemma he's combating in the series. What is the difference between human and artificial intelligence? And if it's nothing, what is the value of humanity? Makishima wants to live. He loves touching, feeling. He's particular about hard copy books versus their digital formats because they give an authentic experience. But he doesn't just read stories, he reenacts them, twisting their ideas into violent experiments. These stories tell the tale of who his victims are and how they will meet their end. The Most Dangerous Game is an obvious example, though I'm sure there are plenty more I missed. Makishima's disregard for life can be summed up as, if the difference between artificial intelligence and humanity is human will, then humans without that will hold no value. Thus, taking the life of these individuals isn't exactly wrong. In Makishima's view, most people aren't truly living. They are going through the motions because a system that's drained them of their individuality tells them to. He knows the potential of humanity far outweighs the current state of it. People's ability to decide what is good and what is evil is a core principle of living. So when someone actually exerts their free will, for good or evil, he watches. It's funny, while he strives to bring humanity back, he himself lacks it, because he's a murderer and all. He preaches salvation while playing the devil. This is why he's so interesting. His importance to the story is probably best exemplified by the relationships he has within it. That with Kogami, his ideological rival, Akane, the fragile idealist, and of course, the civil system itself. Any one of these on their own would be interesting to explore, but it's the combination of them, all centering around one man, that takes the writing to the next level. Without him challenging these characters and systems in different ways, the whole thing falls apart. It's probably the hardest carry job of an acclaimed series I've ever seen. There is a telling moment at the beginning where he says, when someone talks about humans undifferentiated, this person is then obviously also talking about themselves. So when he speaks, he's often revealing truths about himself. It's not wisdom he speaks of, but his own insecurities. And the more you realize that, the more tragic and compelling he becomes. He doesn't just test people's morality, he's looking for someone to prove him wrong. But when someone disappoints him, it only reinforces the emptiness he sees in the world, and himself. This plays into who he spends his time observing, testing, and what we can deduce from that. Enter Mito, a man who takes on all sorts of personalities. Essentially, he's a chameleon. But why? I think that people reveal their true selves when they step into an avatar. They probably feel a sense of freedom. So like Mito, Makishima feels freedom playing the role of something. The difference is, Mito is a nobody. Someone who wears a mask because beneath there is nothing. I think the emptiness of Mito's soul is something Makishima feels regarding his place in the world. Something we know he values is originality. In this regard, the show is ahead of its time. In 2025, AI can generate anything, but tends to be lacking in originality. This is the plight of Rikako, an artist in a world where the originality of art has lost its value. For Makishima, it's easy to see why he takes interest in that. He views what he does as an art form. His violence is his canvas. He is what's original in this unoriginal society. But all art needs to be seen to be appreciated. He literally says as much later on. You've heard my name before. That's encouraging. With Senguji, we see another failure. On paper, they seem like kindred spirits. They both seek the love of the thrill. Instead, he's just a hollow man chasing sensation without a purpose. So like the others, dude gets killed. That's where Shinya Kogami comes in. Kogami understands Makishima. He sees through the games Shogo has designed. Their minds are in sync, but their goals are not. And in its own twisted way, this is the only kinship Makishima has with someone. Shogo isolates himself from others, yet craves recognition from someone who truly understands him. He denies the masses, but yearns for a rival to validate his existence. Now, Makishima feels seen. Akane, on the other hand, is different. Someone who defends and believes the system, but also has a semblance of free will. Her aptitude tests allowed her to choose which profession she wanted to end up in, and in episode 1, she proceeded to save someone despite the system determining they should be executed. But she's naive. Then he confronts her with the truth. He captures her friend Yuki. He tosses Akane a shotgun and says, choose. Shoot me to save her, or listen to the system and watch her die. She calls him a criminal, and he asks, what is a criminal? And who judges that? If people are not judged by their choices, how are we deciding who is good or evil? For the first time, he places her in a situation where the system cannot help her. In fact, it actively hinders her. Her weapon, the Dominator, determines he is not a threat. He's criminally asymptomatic, yet he holds a knife up to her friend's throat. How could you believe in a system that determines there is nothing wrong with your friend being murdered in front of you? This is his point. When the system fails, your belief must become action. Something here I don't really see people point out is that the civil system also takes away the weight of your actions. If you did something because the system said it was good, is it really good? If you avoid something bad for fear of punishment, is that good? The weight of decision making has been removed, which extends to the removal of consequences for your actions. This is why the scene with Yuki is so important. The civil system isn't telling Akane to kill Makishima. She must make that determination on her own. So now, this is her burden to bear if she kills him. She will have taken a life, not the system. This is why she hesitates and why she misses with the shotgun before desperately pointing the Dominator at him, knowing it won't work. Once she shows she lacks conviction, Makishima kills her friend in front of her and drops a banger of a line. Justice is subject to dispute. Might is not. He's right. Akane's justice wavers the moment she has to act on her own, and while it haunts her, it also transforms her. But we'll get back to that. Even if you've never seen Psycho Pass, you've probably heard of the Kogami-Makishima fight. It's iconic. What I personally love about it is everything is hand-to-hand or with a knife. Everything you do to the other person, you feel, and vice versa. Exactly what Makishima wants. We even get a Randy Orton punt kick. When Akane blindsides him, Shinya begs her, kill him, but she can't. She needs to believe the system works, so she takes him in. Then comes the big reveal. The civil system isn't AI, it's people. Computers don't judge people by their psychopaths. The criminally asymptomatic do. People like Makishima. It's all arbitrary. They make an offer to Makishima to join them, but this is why Shogo is so great. Anytime you feel threatening while in captivity, you are doing something right. He rejects their offer because it confirms everything he's always known. The system isn't just flawed, it's a lie. He doesn't want to sit back and make the rules, he wants the thrill of playing the game, so he escapes. This leads to a final confrontation where we witness the ideological climax of the series. 3 distinct worldviews. Makishima believes the system is inherently oppressive, that true freedom only exists outside of it. Kogami is driven by vengeance for all Shogo has done. His obsession with Makishima isn't for justice, it's closure. And Akane, caught between these extremes, can put words to her beliefs now. The law isn't sacred because it's perfect, but because people fight to improve it. She believes in protecting it not for what it is, but for what it could be. This transformation comes from being forced to make decisions on her own. She realizes that justice isn't obedience, it's the courage to act, even when the system fails. That's why Makishima smirks when she chases him. He can respect her now. She's no longer a cog in the machine. But Makishima knows it won't be her that ends his life. He's orchestrated every death until now. Why would his own be any different? When Kogami kills him, it's all according to plan. In a way, Makishima wins. He's pulled Kogami down to his level, proving that the system is powerless to deal with men like them. And in his final moments, Makishima stands in the open air, eyes closed, arms wide, in peace. He wanted to feel the world, and in that moment, surrounded by nature, he does. It's a perfect ending for his character, except the series doesn't end. There are multiple seasons of Psycho Pass after Makishima leaves, and if you didn't know that, that's fine. No one seems to care about them because they lost the thing that made the series magic, Makishima. Akane returns in future seasons. Kogami does too, yet the magic does not. A villain truly carried this series. Now subscribe or die.